Great. Thank you very much, Denise. I'm Ralph Brand. I'm the chair of the Multi-District Pets, Empire Multi-District Pets. And I want to welcome you to the third session of our pre-pet series. And the two sessions that we've already had are recorded and posted on the website. So if you happen to miss those, I urge you at your convenience to go back and listen to them. They were very, very informative. It's my pleasure this evening to introduce to you Lizzie Martin, who is the president-elect of Central New York Rotary, and she is the first president for that new area and new region, which is combining the districts of 7150, 7170, and 7190. She is a member of the Baldwinsville Rotary Club and past president. I give you Lizzie.
Thanks, Ralph. Well, welcome everyone. We're going to kick off tonight with just a little mini tidbit for you. And I'll be talking to you tonight about protecting your club from copyright infringement. Copyright infringement is the use of works protected by copyright without permission. More specifically for our purposes, it's sharing, posting, or using images online that don't belong to you or you don't have permission to use. Why are we talking about copyright infringement? You're probably wondering. Well, because there are companies out there that troll the internet specifically looking for instances of copyright infringement in order to send you a fine. These companies represent the rightful owner in a claim against people wrongly using their images in order to seek monetary compensation. And these claims currently make up 40% of all the claims to Rotary International's insurance coverage for our clubs. This also might be why many clubs and district Facebook pages are being shut down, if you've heard of that happening. Both of these are really big issues for us. So what I propose to you tonight is a two-part solution. The first is never use an image or graphic that doesn't belong to you in your newsletters, on your websites, and in your social posts. It is not safe to just use Google and pick up any image that comes up because it's likely that you don't have permission to use it. There are ways that you can adjust your search settings so it will only show you images that have been specially marked as free to use. I'm going to walk you through how to do that right now. It's very easy once you know where the tools are to click. So I'm going to share my screen. All right, so you can see here I've done a search for pancake breakfast images. I tried to think of something a Rotary Club might need a picture of. And here's the search results. And then I want to click over to just look at the image search results. And you might think, oh, this looks like a nice stack of pancakes. Let me just right click and save that image. Well, don't forget it doesn't belong to you. And that's a really new concept that we all have to embrace. But there are probably some images on the internet that people are okay with you sharing. And the way you find them is up here under the search bar. You see this button that says Tools. Click on that. And then you'll see a new menu pop up here, and you want to click on Usage Rights and go to Creative Commons Licenses. These are ones that you're allowed to use. Click on that, and it'll refresh your search for you and only show you images that have been specifically marked as free for you to use. Oh, look, see, there's still some good choices there for you. Okay, so we go to our Images tab in our search results. We click on Tools. Under Usage Rights, choose Creative Commons Licenses. And you'll have a video of this Zoom to refer back to. You can also use images from Rotary's Brand Center, which Laura is going to tell you all about in our session tonight. You can use images and graphics that are available for free through programs that you use, like Canva.com, or your Microsoft products like PowerPoint and Word. There's also options to subscribe to services online where you can buy images like an image bank, like iStock or the Creative Market. You're very much encouraged to continue to stick to using your own images, the pictures that you and your members take while you're doing service projects and out having fun and having your club meetings. Those people of action shots that are taken right in your community featuring real members, that's really the way to go. And that could be something that you focus on doing better at in the future, as far as capturing smiling action shots and compelling images that you can use online. Copyright issues can get a little tricky on social media because that's where we share, right? We share people's things on social media all the time. So my recommendation here is don't right click and save or download somebody else's image and then put it in a new post on your page. Rather, use the share button and share from their page. A lot of times if people post online, they want it to be shared, right? But they kind of want credit for it. So if you share it from their page, it'll appear on yours, giving them credit as the original poster. So that's just the first part. That's what you need to do from here on out. But we also need all of our districts and clubs to take a moment and look back at all the things you've literally ever posted or shared online in the past. Do you have old newsletters that live on your website? Do you have images on your website that didn't belong to you? Do you have images on your social pages that could get picked up by the software that's crawling the entire internet and get you caught in this net? So we're encouraging all clubs to do a review of your online presence and remove any instances of an image that you did not have explicit permission to share that could possibly be copyrighted and put you at risk. Go as far back in time as you can because this software goes everywhere on the internet. It knows no bounds. So for example, I took down all of my club's archive of newsletters on our website through 2019, because that was when I started using a program where I'm confident that all of our images are safe. If you do get caught, there is help. You will get notified through an official letter in the mail that tells you whose copyright you've infringed upon and what the course of action would be, meaning how much you have to pay. Don't ignore notices like this. They are real and serious. Bring it to your district governor, that would be me or Dave next year, or your district's insurance rep. We both have them. We can facilitate connecting you to Rotary's insurance team who will investigate the validity of the claim and help you address it. Recently, a club in our area was hit with a claim that they used 2 images that belonged to the AP News without their permission. This is a club that's very knowledgeable. They have a really knowledgeable newsletter editor who's aware of these issues, which many of us weren't even. But they thought it was safe to use the images because Rotary International used them. Well, Rotary International had permission, but this club did not. And the fine is $500. So we connected them with Rotary's insurance team and it's going to be taken care of. So please also know it's not the end of the world to get hit with one of these claims. I give this one as an example. It was not a huge sum of money. But if you can imagine that this is happening all around the world, how this will impact our insurance costs as clubs, which comes down to our members, it's really important that we make an effort to avoid this happening. You're going to hear more about this in future communications. And also, I follow all of you on Facebook. So if I see something, I will definitely be saying something. So please, if you have any questions on this copyright infringement issue, feel free to put them in the chat. We'll answer them at the end when we get to our questions section. We can also continue the conversation when I see you in person at PETS next month. But next up, it's time for me to introduce our Rotary Public Image expert for tonight, Laura Spear. She is currently president of her club, the Rotary Club of Metro Providence in Rhode Island. And she's a marketing mind both in her work. She has decades of experience at big businesses being on their marketing teams and in her service through Rotary. So she's our public image coordinator for Zone 32. That's all the districts in the Northeast. And she's served on the Rotary International Communications Committee. She's been part of Rotary's public image basically at every level. And she's here tonight to talk, as well as she's going to be everywhere at the in-person weekend, helping you in the tech lab with a keynote, in a breakout session. So please welcome everybody. Laura, take it away.
Thank you, Lizzie. And boy, what an honor to be here with all of you. I remember doing my pre-pets and pets, and it's a lot. It's like drinking from a fire hose. So I really appreciate the opportunity to share about public image. And tonight, Brand 101. So I'm going to share my screen. Make sure I have it up. Okay. There we go. I'm hopeful you can see this. All right, so branding 101. This is the basics. And really, a lot of people think, why are we even worrying about this? Why should we care about it? What does it matter to me? I want to be creative. I want my club to be known in a fun way. And so why do I have to go by these branding rules from Rotary International? And once you get there, what do you do to try to adhere to those rules? So we're going to walk through that over the next half hour or so. So save your questions. You can put them in the chat and we can read them at the end, or you can unmute yourself at the end and we'll do live Q&A. We'll get started. So we'll start off with that first piece. Why should we even promote Rotary the same way? After all, every club has its own culture and personality. We want to be known in our community for certain things. Clubs all differ. Why are we supposed to worry about looking at promotion in a consistent way? Well, way back in 2011, we had this little rotary wheel, if you will, and it was blue and it was gold, and we were starting to lose membership. And so Rotary International conducted a global survey of business professionals and volunteers and nonprofits. And it was very interesting. Way back in 2011, only 60% of the people had heard about Rotary. So Rotary International launched a new branding effort with a new logo, new colors, new fonts, new imagery and typographic conventions, all that good stuff, so that we could be a little more consistent. And the logo in particular was a really sore point. People saw that blue and yellow wheel and they're like, what is that? Is it a bicycle shop? Is it a manufacturing company? Do you make cogs? They just weren't sure what it was. So the origin of the new Rotary logo is the word Rotary in front of the wheel. And that's why we want to combine both of those things. So there was a follow-up survey in 2016. And they're like, okay, 5 years have gone by. Have we made any strides? Well, yes. We went from 60% of the people having heard about Rotary to 75%. Sounds really good, right? Unfortunately, even though the percentage of people who became aware of Rotary went up, they really didn't understand what Rotary was. They were just kind of confused. It was really only a little more than a third of the people understood that we were a service organization. And in fact, 60% of the people surveyed had no idea if there was a local Rotary club. And also, a third of the people had no idea of any Rotary program whatsoever, including our efforts to eradicate polio. Now, we know all of the good stuff that Rotary stands for. Service above self, and our friendship and fellowship, and we like each other and we have a good time. And it's an opportunity to network with each other and have leadership opportunities, such as all that you are going through right now. And we are an organization that's full of integrity. And so these are very strong values that once you're a member, you really embrace. Unfortunately, the public perception was not quite the same. The responses were a little bit negative. Well, Rotary is not for an organization like me. It's for older men who have lunch. It's for people who are rich. Yes, they do humanitarian things, but it's really not something for me, myself. I just can't see myself sitting at a table eating with older men and maybe writing a check. It's expensive, all that good stuff. So there was a whole effort to try to figure out how we could overcome that perception. And why? Well, if any of you are involved in sales or marketing, you might have heard something called the sales funnel or the demand funnel, or maybe the pipeline, if you will. And it starts with awareness. You don't go up to somebody on the street and say, hi, My name is Laura, and I'm in Rotary. Would you like to be a member? They would look at you like, what are you talking about? So you have to have the awareness first, and then that can lead to understanding. From understanding, it can lead to interest. And when someone's interested, they'll get engaged and ultimately become advocates like all of us. And you can accomplish that by building upon the Rotary brand. So the bottom line is, with using consistent branding in all of our activities, all of our outward facing communications, all of our publicity, all of our club meetings, more people get to know and understand who we are. That helps us reach prospective members. It helps us engage our current members. It helps us do more service in the world. It helps us get more sponsorships and partners and fundraisers from outside our club. So consistent branding is really a win-win across all of our organizations. And there was a survey done back in 2022 about growth clubs. So there was 2 membership coordinators. For us, it was Herb Klotz, and he worked with his counterpart in Zone 28, and they surveyed clubs that were growing. They found that there were 3 reasons that those clubs that have grown all shared in common. So first of all, great meetings and strong friendships. The people liked each other. They had a good time when they got together. Second one was meaningful service projects. It meant something to them and to the community. And the third one is a strong public image. These clubs were well known in their communities. And it's not just a good idea. So back in July 2023, the Rotary Board of Directors came up with kind of a caveat, not even a caveat, a commandment that thou shalt do branding. And unfortunately, all those district governors are now going to be held responsible and accountable for making sure that clubs are adherent to the Rotary brand. So don't be surprised if you are contacted if you're not quite compliant. All right. Now everybody's on board. You know that this is the best thing to do, and you want to know how to get started. Well, first things first, Brand Center is the place to go. So it's very simple to get there. It's not gated. What that means is you don't have to use a username or password. Just go into brandcenter.rotary.org. And you can go in also through My Rotary if you are already in My Rotary, but you don't have to worry about it. Just go straight into brandcenter.rotary.org. And you're going to see all kinds of materials available. So in this case, and you'll see the menu item of home. Next to that is our brand, and it talks about the importance of the brand, the image we want to convey, and all of the identity elements that comprise our brand. And then there's a section on downloads. So Lizzie talked about images, photos that you could download. You can do that right here. And the best part is there are templates. It is so easy to create your own club logos, your own district logos, your own brochures, people of action ads, social media posts. Very, very simple using the templates. So let's start with the brand identity. It used to be this many page booklet that had so much detail, and it was difficult to maintain and update. And it was really so full of information that people were getting lost because it was too complex. It was really designed for marketers and creative designers. So instead, Rotary International said, all right, we're going to simplify things. We're going to get rid of that big booklet, and we're going to make our website, the Brand Center, a lot more easier to use and more intuitive. And so now you can go into Brand Center and find that information for logos and colors and fonts and so on. Then there's a whole section on the logo. So the logo is really called our master brand. And if you look at the master brand on the top, you're going to see that it has the words Rotary and International inside of the wheel. You are able to do a version for your club without those words, and they call that a simplified version. But either way it works, you still need to go in and put your club or district identifier next to it using the template. So don't go into Canva, don't go into your Word document or your PowerPoint and start putting your club name willy-nilly all over the place. Use the brand center template. And I bring this up because a lot of people think that if they just use the master brand from Rotary International, that's good enough, and it's not. So Rotary International has trademarked that Rotary with the wheel, just as you see there. And we are given the rights to use it when we add our identifier. So that is really important. We have to add our identifier. There is a separate version for the Rotary Foundation, but it's consistent in the look and feel, just like we have with our club identifier. So you can see, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, that Rotary logo look and feel is consistent. And the same thing was applied for Rotaract and Interact. And you can be flexible. So as you see in the second column, Sunrise Kampala is above and club is underneath. And they do get asked a lot, well, do we have to use the word club? Well, you can even find the answer on Brand Center. It's what you are known for in your community. So if you're known as only Sunrise Kampala Rotary, to have. Otherwise, if you're known as the Sunrise Kampala Club, you would do it just like you do here. What about that wheel though? Well, this is called our mark of excellence, and it's really to be used for emphasis. And you never use it by yourself. If you're going to be using it, make sure you have your club or district logo nearby. It must be much bigger. And unfortunately, I've seen it misused many times as background imagery. I've seen it on posters highlighting a 100th anniversary for a town, and they have blue and yellow wheels all over the place. It's for emphasis. So there is no simplified version. It always has to use the words Rotary and International because it is larger. And so you can use the version that you find in Brand Center, but don't try to recreate it yourself. All right, here we go.
Attention retirees,
Wow.
if you're willing to be at your computer from 9 a.m. to 10:45 a.m. on
Let's skip that.
Once again, it's time to play One Voice Every Club, a game that tests whether you can identify the correct Rotary logo.
All right, welcome to One Voice Every Club. May the best team win. All right, let's get started. Question 1. Which item uses the correct logo?
The banner.
Oh, try again.
The mug.
Oh, I'm sorry. The correct answer is the website. Now, this club used the logo properly by including their club name with the master brand signature. We don't use that old Rotary wheel anymore, and the Rotary logo is never used as an object, like a bike wheel. All right, next question. Does this poster use the club logo correctly?
Yes, it's correctly branded.
No, I'm sorry. The branding is incorrect. Let's try again.
Yes, it's correctly branded.
You're right. Well done. Look how professional that poster is. You can tell that logo was created in our brand center. It uses the club name and Rotary logo in the proper font and color. A quick tip for all of you watching at home, always use your club logo consistently. It builds local awareness and global recognition. All right, we're almost out of time. Final question. Why is this the correct Rotary Club logo?
Because it uses the club's name with the Rotary logo.
You're right. Congratulations. You're the new champion of One Voice, Every Club. Now that's all the time we have today. I'm your host, reminding you to retire those old Rotary wheels in your branding. And when Rotary clubs use a uniform logo, everybody wins. Good night, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget to visit rotary.org/brand center to create your club logo.
Okay, so now everybody has seen this. You can't.
Good evening, family of Rotary.
Uh-oh.
Thank you to the
Goodbye, Stephanie. Okay, here we go. All right. So they mentioned you could go to rotary.org/brand center. Yes, that will work, but the ideal is brandcenter.rotary.org, and you'll see that in all the materials. So now we're going to go into a little more detail because we find that Rotary logos are the trickiest part of branding for almost every club. Number one, always use that identifier. Remember, we're given the rights to use it. We don't own the trademark ourselves. Rotary International does. Number two, never obscure the Rotary wheel or use a partial wheel or play with it or use it as an object. And what I see most often is the example with the word contribute. I've gone to district conferences where they have a little banner in front of the wheel that says 100th anniversary or 75th anniversary. We don't want to do that. Leave the wheel alone by itself. Number three, we run into this a lot as well. Please do not dress up the logo. The logo is the logo, the master brand. You do not add something. I know people in New York City want to add a skyline, and I've heard about lighthouses being added. You can have some imagery, just do not include it as part of your club's logo, okay? Even down in the left corner, you'll see that hybrid cloud of New Tampa noon. First of all, it's not using the template, and it's trying to combine the bird and the colorful background as part of a logo. Again, you can have that elsewhere on your page or on the image, but not by the logo, not part of the logo, I should say. And number four, oh, please, 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 replace all the old logos. It's been 10 years. And I know I went to a Pets and there was a big blow up blue and yellow wheel. And I was like, no, that was last year. No, 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 get rid of it. Unfortunately, I saw it again with pictures for RLI. I'm like, no, you know what? It's been 10 years. You got a lot of use out of it. You got your return on investment. It's time to invest in new logos. Okay, more examples. It's always fun finding examples of incorrect use. So I think you kind of get the reasons why for a lot of this, manipulating the wheel, adding imagery like the palm tree, women in Rotary. I get that a lot too. Nope, it's not a club or district identifier. You would use your club or district name, and then you could have a title. Women in Rotary District 7120, something like that. And then the one at the bottom, that looks like it might be legit, right? Star City Rotary Club, it's got that star. You don't have the star. Please remove the star. You can have a star elsewhere on the page, but not as part of the logo. So again, examples of correct usage. And then there's the lockup. The lockup was designed to make it easier for people to use the proper logo, and you would put that on the left side. You can put your partner logos on the right side. So say you're working with a partner to sponsor a fundraiser or an event. In the case of Helping Hands or Toastmasters, these are third-party partners. You can use their logo as part of a lockup. For Rotary, Rotaract, Interact, we want to use an event name. So Let's Fight Against Hunger sounds like it's a theme. It's really a food packaging event. That's what they're calling it. Let's Fight Against Hunger food packaging. Taste of Evanston, that was a fundraiser where they had different restaurants come in and provide food, and you paid money to attend. Do not use a lockup for themes. I know I dealt with this for a committee that wanted to put DEI. So they had Rotary District, blah, 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 and DEI on the other side. Well, it's nice that you want to emphasize the name of your effort or committee or theme, but it's not an event. And so kind of think of it in terms of an event. If you have questions, I can deal with that at the end or offline, because this causes a lot of confusion. For assistance, you can find some do's and don'ts on the brand center. So they'll give you lots of different examples of what to do and what not to do as reinforcement. And so we often see things like this: planning for a better tomorrow. No, it's not a club. It's not a district. It's not a zone. We don't use that extra text. And we see a lot of this, kind of a theme on the right side. Again, you want to use that right side for partners or sponsors or events or time-bound programs. So you're having a speaker, you want to emphasize that, you're bringing in the public, you can use a lockup. It's not like a program that's ongoing and ongoing and ongoing. All right, presidential theme logos. So they are going away. And the reason why is that these were designed to motivate internal Rotarians, not for the public. You're not supposed to put it on your website. You're not supposed to put it on banners or flags that would be for public use. It's to motivate Rotary members. Now, they currently are available for Brand Center. We have one more year, 2025, they're going to be discontinued. And the reason why is because people were confused. We changed them every year. And I've been to clubs where I've heard, well, we didn't like last year, so we used the year before on our website. Or, create hope in the world. I really like that much better than the magic of Rotary. I'm going to keep using that. Well, it's confusing. If we are changing every year with public consumption, then the public is going to be confused as to what Rotary stands for. So that's why the board of directors voted to discontinue the use of presidential themes and their logos. And I have heard, as a backup, oh, well, we'll just have a theme for our district. You're going to fall into the same issues that we have with the presidential theme if you go down that route. We really highly, highly, highly recommend stick with your master brand, Rotary District, whatever, Rotary Club, whatever, and please avoid the themes. All right, another area that I see a lot is around images. So remember I said people of action? Well, that was designed to help the public understand what we stand for. And I had a really nice conversation just yesterday morning with someone who was very interested in doing promotional activities for Rotary. She was a relatively new member involved in media for her professional life. And she goes, it's really hard because people don't know what Rotary what's the one thing Rotary does? And she said, you kind of know what other organizations may do, But Rotary tends to do all kinds of events, all kinds of community service projects and international projects, and we have all those avenues of service, and it's really confusing. And I said, well, that is where People of Action comes into play. And it really builds upon the 3 legs of the stool that were launched with the original rebrand. It was join leaders, exchange ideas, and take action. So now you're going to see kind of this mission statement where Rotary unites people to plan activities and service projects that are sustainable in both our local and our international communities. So that's what we want to reflect, not only in our pictures, in our stories, in our activities. And what I often see are pictures of people standing in a line. It's great. You have a lot of people in your club. Yeah, that's nice to show. I also see a lot of the handshake. I also see a lot of the checks, the big checks. And I will only say, I'm originally from Northeast Ohio, and I was back visiting family, and they have a community service page in the local newspaper that comes out once a week. And they take pictures of all of their nonprofits and community service organizations, and they put them all on one sheet of paper. Every single picture, people standing in a line, doing a handshake, or holding a check. That does not differentiate Rotary. We want to show action. You want to show what your club is doing, ideally with the recipients, but at least show how you're doing your service projects and promote that. It is fine to have a couple of group shots, but really focus on where the action is. So there are lots of examples in the brand center of what not to use. They don't want to use just one person. They don't want weird angles. They have all kinds of guidelines. But frankly, if you err on the side of showing action, that's the best thing. I don't care if it's only one person. I don't care if there is a bad angle or the lighting may not be the greatest. Let's start there. Let us start there and avoid the handshakes and the group shots of standing around. So I keep saying brand center, brand center, brand center. There is another resource, and it is called the Learning Center. And I am hopeful that all of you as presidents-elect have been going in there and taking your classes, because I had to take them last year. But there's a whole bunch of public image courses that anyone can take. And you can see there are a couple that your whole club might benefit from. The one called Our Logo, representing Rotary, used to be 15 minutes. They added a little more. It's 30 minutes. It's not a big deal. Next to it, Promoting Your Club as People of Action, 15 minutes. Down in the second row, the Rotary brand, 15 minutes. I know a lot of people don't know what a brand is. And frankly, you need the brand in all of your outgoing communications and marketing efforts. You need to be consistent, because that's how you're going to get the awareness and the understanding and the interest in your clubs and districts. There are plenty of other public image resources as well. So I did refer to images. This is where you go. You go to the brand center, you click on the images and video tab, and then you go down to the images tab. There is a press center for Rotary.org with news and feature items. Feel free to take a look at that. Borrow some of that. It's all good. Then for public relations, learn more from My Rotary. You'll have to log in using your Rotary.org username and password. Go into Learning and References, learn by topic, and you see public relations. That's great if you have someone in your club who might be a good PR person. Doesn't hurt for you to take a look at it as a president-elect. Rotary Showcase. Right now, that is how you identify all of the service projects in Club Central. You have to go into Club Central through My Rotary, and you pull up Rotary Showcase, and you can do that before you have a service project. If you're looking for help, either people or funding, or you can post your completed service projects there. And that gives visibility within the Rotary world. Rotary Voices is a blog. That's another area that has public image information. The endpolio.org Resource Center. And then, of course, Rotary has a whole fleet of social channels: Facebook, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, Vimeo, and YouTube. Vimeo and YouTube are video platforms. By the way, YouTube is second to Google in terms of search volume. So it is really nice to put your Rotary specific videos on YouTube. But having said that, Rotary already is doing that. And you can share, just like Lizzie said at the very beginning, you can share their posts on your social media or on your website. It's okay. Feel free to leverage those resources. And then there are other resources like myself. So I am the Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zone 32, and I do have 6 assistants across the Northeast. And next year, we're going to have 7. So we're going to have a lot of support. And then we have the website for Zones 28 and 32. There is a page that just got posted for public image. On that, there is a recording with the slides for More Than a Name. It was a webinar that we conducted talking about logo usage and naming of entities like buildings and structures and clock towers and parks. So what to do and what not to do and how to go forward. There's also a Facebook page for the zones, but actually there are 2, and I know this is a little confusing. So the first one, Zones 28 and 32, is for general social media communications, updates, postings, we're having a service project, learn more about us, isn't this great? There is also a Facebook page called In the Zone, and this gets promoted by our director, Drew, every month, and it's to highlight success stories. So things like case studies or best practices. And we encourage all of you to share with us your ideas that we can post in the zone, because we're looking for those success stories. Last but not least, every month I do a very quick email with tips and tricks, not tracks, but tricks. And I try to say, oh, here's what's new in the brand center, or here's where you can go for a new course, or here's where you can find End Polio Now resources. It's very short, it's very sweet. I try to have a question of the month based on all of the questions that we get. I send them to the district governors and the district public image chairs automatically, but we can add people. If you'd like to be added, or you have someone in your club you think should be added, let me know. It's very simple for me to just put the person in the spreadsheet. All right, usually at this point, I'm done talking and I start showing. But in the interest of time, and because we want to accommodate all of your questions, I'm going to point you to pets. And I will be there on Thursday afternoon. I can demonstrate the brand center. I can demonstrate the courses in Learning Center. I can help you walk through the process of creating your own club logo. I can show you how easy it is to create your own club brochure. I can show you where all things like the PowerPoint template is, which seems to be hidden. So any of your questions, I will be there at PETS in the technology lab. And then, as Lizzie said, I will be doing a couple breakouts the next day and the keynote, I believe, at lunch. So stay tuned. I do look forward to meeting all of you in person. And if you have questions, even before then or after then, it doesn't matter. Feel free to reach out to me. Email is always the best way. So laura@spear.net. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and we'll go into questions. And I see the chat room blowing up.
Laura, just one quick point of correction. You'll be there Friday afternoon, not Thursday afternoon.
Thank you
We
for
all
that.
arrive on Friday afternoon, yes.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I'm doing another pets the previous week on Thursday afternoon, so it's all a blur.
Well, the executive
getting into
committee
a
will be
busy
there
time.
Thursday, and you're welcome to come, but Friday is when you need to be there.
All right, I'll be in Syracuse on Friday. Girl Scouts on.
Laura, we've had a couple of questions that have come in. Frank wanted to know if you could define lockup, please, for those who
Okay.
don't know what that is.
So a lockup is typically when you are trying to combine two concepts. And in this case, we're doing either two logos, and you'll see the little line down the middle. That's a lockup. And it's one logo that you're creating out of two. And you're going to see this all over the place. Companies, stores, advertisers, they're starting to use these all the time. In our case, we use them for sharing with a partner so that we have the two together, or if you're really trying to put the name of an event next to your club or district logo. Does that help?
I think
Okay.
so. We are going to be sharing the slides, and there's a good couple of examples in there of what a lockup looks like for people
Thank
who
you.
didn't get that concept. Joanne wanted to know, and I think this is the case on Rotary, is there a black and white version of the logo that people can download if they're not
Yes.
printed in color?
And there's a white only version if you've got like a dark background. And then you can have a version with a transparent background. So you want the PNG version for that as well.
Great. Lisa asked, if I understand correctly, the Rotary wheel can't be used by itself. Does that go
Correct.
for both Facebook profile pictures?
Here's the thing. I actually recommend using the wheel as your profile picture. And that got confirmed by Rotary International because that's what they use. But, and here's the but, make sure you have your club identifier on that page. So you can use the wheel for your profile picture, but make sure you are using your club identifier as well. And it's really easy. You can go into Facebook, go to the Rotary International page, click on their profile picture and download it. And then you can just upload it as your own club's profile picture. And they even include instructions on how to do it. So it's not just okay to use it, they encourage it.
Frank said, we're a small club. If we stop using the brand wheel, then we don't need to worry about the different trademark rules. Is this correct? Or because we wish to focus our limited resources on actually doing community service?
Okay, so if you're doing community service, how are you going to let people know about it? So my recommendation is, yes, use your club logo and make sure people hear about the community service that you're doing. It's really inexpensive to set up a Facebook page, for example. I know a lot of clubs don't want the cost of a website, but they will use Facebook. And I know a lot of people push back. Oh, nobody uses Facebook anymore. Oh, well, we actually have the data. Even 20-year-olds are still using Facebook. Believe it or not, it is the #1 platform. And I think for our target demographics, the 30 to 70-ish range, that is the #1 platform. And so I do recommend telling people about you and all the work that you're doing. And I'm in a small club, I get it. We don't have a lot of money, and fundraising has been really challenging, especially post-COVID. So we're trying to do our best as well. I'm there, I get it. However, if you're not telling people about what you're doing, you're always going to be a small club and nobody's going to know about you.
I would also add, you know, some of this might, especially if you're not a marketer or if this is a little bit of new concepts for you to have to wrap your mind around, it might feel overwhelming or like it's a lot of work and you have to figure out, navigate all these do's and don'ts. The simple fact is you go into the brand center, you download your club's logo in full color, in all black, in all white, in yellow and white and gold, like the Rotary you see behind Laura, and you're done. You save those files, you share them with everyone in your club, and that's the only logo that you put on things for your club moving forward. It's that easy. So it's a one-time action. Laura can help you do it in the tech lab at Pets in person, so you can get assistance if you're not tech savvy, or you just need that one walkthrough and then you got the rest covered and you're done. You got a great logo, and just never manipulate it, never change it, never squish it, never change the colors, and always use it.
If you want help with that, remember to bring a device, your laptop, your phone, your phone. A laptop would be better, but bring a device so that they can get on, you can log on and download it.
The last question we have is a question about clothing with the older logo. Does this mean we have to phase them out of our wardrobes?
You should. Like I said, it's been 10 years. So if you still have clothing from 10 years, good for you. I know Russell Hampton is, of course, the ubiquitous vendor, and they did do a clearance sale of a lot of the older stuff that pretty much ended about 5 years ago. So think about your older clothing in public. Certainly you can wear them around the house, washing your car, maybe getting groceries with a coat on. But if you're really trying to promote your club in your community where public people are going to see you and you want them to see you, use something new.
All right.
We had
All right.
a couple more questions came in at the end, really quickly, Laura. Is there a newsletter template in the brand center?
No, not that I know of. But that's a really good question. And part of my role as a zone public image coordinator is to be kind of a liaison back to Rotary International. So I am often asked for tips and tricks. I will say, by the way, this is hot off the press. Brand Center now has a series of presentations. And so it's really cool. There's one on social media. There's one on logo usage, I think. But there are like 5 of them, and they just went live like a week or so ago. So it's really neat. I'm going to highlight that in our monthly newsletter that's going out soon. And that's only because we provided that feedback to Rotary International. We said, look, we're making up these presentations ourselves. We get some slides from Rotary International. We have them bless other slides. It'd be really nice if you want us to be consistent, that we're saying the same thing as we try to, I don't want to say teach, as we try to encourage you to learn more about using the proper branding as you go out in public. So that's a really, really good thing to take back.
Yes, thank you for that, Esther. And then lastly, for an ongoing club activity like youth exchange, that doesn't feel like something we could use with the lockup on how it was described tonight. So what would be the appropriate logo to use for a district's youth exchange program?
I think that came up on our what's in a name call, or maybe the post call with the brand specialist at Rotary International. Her name is Liz Cham. And I know that came up, and Ryla was another one that came up. And so I think she said they actually have a default from Rotary. So I'm going to take that as homework as well. And I'm going to give the answers to Lizzie, and Lizzie, you can propagate. Okay?
Definitely. And just quickly too, we had 2 circling back on the copyright infringement topic. Frank asked, does the fair use doctrine enter into this discussion? I don't think it necessarily does. That's a little bit more around text and quoting copyrighted works. Here we're really focused on images. If you were, say, referring to an image to criticize or comment on it, I suppose you could make that argument. But if you wanted to post something like that, you would want to get permission to use that image. And the other question was, if our club is covered in the local news, can we post their story on our website? And Denise did ask, yes, you can. Share it from their social media onto your social media. Share a link to their article on your website, but do not copy their article and paste it on your website. That is not okay. That that text belongs to them. And that actually hurts your website's search engine optimization, something called duplicate content, but definitely refer to it through linking and sharing on social. All right, Dave, bring us home.
He's muted.
Okay, my computer decided to go funky for a few minutes. Lizzie, Laura, thank you very much for a great presentation. My head's spinning, but it's valuable information. I'll tell you, if you notice in your, you don't really look at the dues and the bills that come, but you notice that our insurance rates have gone up from in the past few years. And when you say 40% of the claims are for these type of claim, they're using the insurance to pay for these, we can see why they're going up. So that's, as clubs are worried about costs, if we can keep these under control, we can keep our insurance down. So thank you very much. I'm looking forward to hearing both you again and at the pets. And thanks everyone for getting online here today. There's still more training opportunities coming up, including our in-person weekends in Syracuse, March 15th through the 17th. It seems like you have a lot of time, but time is flying. We're already near the end, getting close to the end of February. Registration closes on March 5th, so don't wait. And if your club's PE cannot attend, send somebody else. Your club is paying money for pets. Remember that. It's not just like, oh, we're not going, we don't get charged. You're getting charged. Send someone. Someone in the club that can always benefit from the great training. And we also have to go to, if you want to get more information on the hotel, it's Rotary Empire MDPets.org. I know the registration ended on the 19th. I think the rates are still pretty reasonable. Our next virtual session will be Thursday, February 29th, 7 p.m. Use the same link you've been using all along. We're going to be talking about engaging club meetings, sharing some leadership inspiration, and you'll get to meet our club representative from the club and district support at Rotary International. Her name is Mallory Ori. So please use the link to submit also your DEI and mental health questions before you leave the Zoom room, if you haven't done so already. It's in that you'll find that in the earlier part of the chat. Last, we'd like to recognize a couple sponsors that we have that will be at the President-elect training. The first is Horan Insurance. It's HORAN, and Best Travel Partners, both run by Rotarians in our MD Pets area. Horan Insurance offers business and personal policies for whatever you need insured. They are an independent agency, so you can shop around to get the best rate. Their entire office is friendly, responsive, and cares about you. And that's why they have a 5-star rating on Google. You can visit them at horaninsured.com or stop by their brand new office at 63 East Genesee Street in Baldwinsville, New York. The second sponsor is Best Travel Partners. They'll spoil you with the highest quality, most personalized travel service available. Whether you want to relax at an all-inclusive, sail away on a cruise, plan that dream Disney vacation, or check off a destination on your bucket list, a luxury vacation should start with luxury planning experience. So visit besttravelpartners.com and to get started, or speak with Ann Demers, a Rotarian. She'll be in person at the Pets. She'll have a table out front. And I'll tell you, people say, why should I do a travel agency? Well, you try and call Expedia when you're having a problem with your hotel, and good luck. So finally, be sure to follow MD Pets, Multi-District Pets on Facebook, so you can see when the training recordings are going to get posted. We try and get them out a few days after this. And you get report reminders and ongoing helpful tips for to prepare to lead. thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week. So again, thank you for our speakers, and thanks everyone for taking time out of your evening to come join me. I think you're going to really enjoy the pets this year. We have some really dynamic speakers coming. You've seen one today with Laura, and there's a lot more you're going to have in person that you won't get just by being on a Zoom. But thank you again.
Thanks, everyone.
Okay.
Take care. See you next week.